Well, guys, I've got to do it. It's the story that's dominating the entertainment headlines right now, as well as headlines all over the world. I'm going to give you my take on Harvey Weinstein. As much as I don't want to talk about the situation with Harvey Weinstein, like I said, it's an entertainment story, so I feel like I need to chime in on it. Just to recap the goings-on, film producer Harvey Weinstein's been accused by several women in the last several days of sexual harassment. Several of those women have even accused him of rape. About a week or so ago, an audio recording came to light of a conversation he was having with a young woman that was, quite frankly, just appalling to listen to. It made my skin crawl. This audio recording was made actually by the New York District Attorney, who was setting him up, trying to get evidence to indict him for rape and all kinds of things in the city of New York. First off, let me say there's absolutely no excuse for what he's done. That much is absolutely clear. I find it kind of amazing to me the number of people that have come forward in the last few days saying that not only did they know what Weinstein was doing, but it had been an ongoing thing in Hollywood and that they'd known about for quite some time. I find that absolutely disturbing, that it was so widely known in the Hollywood circle. Not only was it known, but it was essentially encouraged by this silent consent that they have in Hollywood. I really don't understand why they would keep that kind of thing quiet, because most of Hollywood claims to be so feminist, out for women's rights, but they kind of allowed this thing to go on. That might not be what we need to talk about on this show. I try to stick to the entertainment part, but at the same time, it's still just a disturbing thing to have had happen. Something else that stands out to me is the names of the actresses that have come forward with stories of Weinstein harassing them in the past, or at least having had knowledge of his actions. Several women, including, Roseanne Arquette, Ashley Judd, Mira Sorvino, Angelina Jolie, Heather Graham, and Gwyneth Paltrow have all come forward with stories dating back to about 1990 of Weinstein acting upon them in some way, shape, or form, trying to pressure them into some kind of inappropriate contact. Actress Rose McGowan even reached some kind of a settlement with him over some incident that happened back in 1997, I believe. It's disappointing to hear all this. I've loved Harvey Weinstein's movies for a long time, and I'm sure like most of you probably have. But like I said, it's disappointing, it's sad, and quite frankly, it's just appalling. And for the life of me, I don't understand how so many of these Hollywood types, especially the women, could just sit idly by and let this thing happen without screaming at the top of their lungs about what he was doing and what people were doing alongside to cover this up for him. It makes me wonder if there isn't something unspoken in Hollywood that you're supposed to keep quiet about the shady things that you find out about other famous people. I'm okay with having a brotherhood of sorts, a sisterhood, a family, other than the blood relatives. That's fine. I mean, I grew up playing sports, and so I'm very in tune with the brotherhood. I played a lot of baseball as a kid, and so I'm very into all that. But at the same time, if one of my teammates was doing something absolutely wrong, I absolutely would say something about it. This isn't the first time we've heard something like this come out of Hollywood. It was just a year or so ago that Bryan Singer got in some trouble. Apparently he was part of a group of men from other Hollywood-type people, Harvey Weinstein-type people, producers and directors, that were, I think they were, as I recall, they were flying young boys to wherever they were at. There was one story I read about Hawaii, somewhere else, giving them alcohol and pills and getting them doped up and doing God knows what with them. So it's hard to imagine that this story won't continue to grow, and that sadly more stories of other people doing this won't come of this. We've already had this producer from Amazon has already, actually, I think just in the last 24 hours, has resigned because of some allegations that were made at him about a producer from one of their most popular shows. And honestly, if you think about it, this goes back to the inception of Tinseltown, to the very beginning of the film industry. I know Louis B. Mayer. I've read multiple stories about some of the things that he's done. Jack Warner, all kinds of filmmakers and actors from the beginning of the film era. So even the golden age of film is not immune to men acting like this, because when film making began, this was when women were seen as objects rather than people. And so back then you understand why men had this idea that they could do whatever they wanted to do with women. You don't understand it now because we've grown as a society and we realize now that that was wrong. But the fact that Hollywood, that for all their talk about being for women's rights and whatnot and equality for women, I mean, women actresses still don't get paid as much as men. There's still only really 2 or 3 female directors that have really broken through and done big movies. I've talked about Patty Jenkins and her success. We've got Ava DuVernay and some others that have come through. Jodie Foster has transitioned from being an actress into a very successful director. She's made several good movies. I don't really understand why this behavior was allowed to propagate from, whenever the film industry began all the way up through today, to where Harvey Weinstein and people like him could get away with this stuff. Honestly, people in Hollywood need to get it together. I think right now we're in another golden age of cinema. I think some fantastic movies are being made. I'm not just talking about the comic book movies that me and the guys and the people on the show gush over all the time. I'm talking about legitimately good films. And so I'd like to think that there's a lot more good films to come, but I find it hard to believe that the people making those films are such horrible assholes. I really hope that Hollywood cleans itself up, that we get better people in there to make better movies. Not that the movies themselves are bad, but I want the people in there to make better movies. To be better people, rather, excuse me. I just hope that Hollywood can clean up their act and they can concentrate on filmmaking rather than being such bastards towards women. But anyway, that's all I got for right now. Hope you guys like our channel so far. We're slowly getting up there. We've got a few subscribers, a few views. I hope you guys that like it are out sharing the channel. I hate to talk about such a bummer of a topic right now, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and get my thoughts out there on this. And if you guys have any thoughts or comments on this, feel free to get down in the comment section, let us know, and share the video. We'll see you guys later.